Hello everyone, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about some modifier tolerance symbols. Woo, mouthful. The big thing is that these symbols will be shown not by themselves ever, but next to something else. They'll either be next to the tolerance number, like 0.05 m, or they might be next to a datum. You might see a translation symbol next to that, or you might see the... So you'll see them next to something, they're never by themselves. Now, there are a lot of these, and we're not going to go over all of them now. We're going to hit on them all eventually, just not right now. For example, like this tangent plane, we're going to talk about that when we start talking about orientation tolerances. Projected tolerance zone, we get to position tolerances. Unequally disposed profile tolerances. The two we're really going to focus on today, though, are right here. Maximum material condition and the maximum material boundary. And the least material condition, least material boundary, same symbol for both these two conditions. They're not the same thing, just related. Okay, before we really jump into these, I want to just take a moment to define what do I mean by material condition and what do I mean by boundary condition. Okay? Material condition, boundary condition. Now, here's a question for you. So let's say that you are measuring a board. Very nice. Nice little square board there. And you want to measure how long it is. Well, that all works and that's fine. Okay, you got some length here. But what if, instead of being this nice square board, well, I just erased everything. What if instead we had something more like this? Okay. Obviously, that's making it fairly difficult on me to measure because I've got this crazy jaggedy edge. Do I go from there? Do I go from here? Do I go from the average? Where do I measure from? So that is the boundary over here. That's the edge. And depending on its condition, well, that helps me understand where I'm going to be measuring from. So boundary conditions, think edge. Think this is where I'm measuring from. So these symbols right here are going to change how I measure from that boundary. Okay, now material conditions. Material conditions might be like, okay, is this wood or steel? It's not talking about that. What it's talking about is that there are variations when you make a part. Perhaps you have a board and you're supposed to have a hole in it. I'll put one hole right here. And this hole is perfect. But by accident, when you're drilling the second one, you make it way too big. Now, that doesn't mean that your part necessarily fails. Okay, well, in this case, it would probably fail. It's a huge variation, but imagine I'm exaggerating here a little bit, okay? Just exaggerating the hole size. So this is bigger. It's bigger, and because of that, you might get more tolerance because it's bigger. Because if I have a peg that's supposed to somehow fit in that hole, well, a bigger hole makes it easier for the peg to fit in. A smaller hole, harder for the peg. You're going to have to make sure that it's perfectly aligned. So this can, in many cases, allow me to have more tolerance. That is, however, only if this size hole is, within our boundaries, within the boundaries that are allowed. If it's too big, everything's going to fall apart because it'll allow too much variation. So these right here, they are all about features of size. So holes, pegs, cubes cut out of things, slots, or some sort of 3D shapes. Think a 3D shape, whether that be an absence like a hole or a filled in 3D shape. Okay, so material condition modifier is talking about that. Boundary condition is talking about our datums and the edges right here, what I'm measuring from to see how this is positioned. Okay, so I hope this helps you. And next time we'll have a lot of fun jumping into this. So thanks for listening. See you all next time.